Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Radha Kund Bihari Radha Kund Bihari Radhe Jaya Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman Jaya Jagannath Jaya Naladeva Mai Subhadra Jaya Srinath Ji Jaya Bala Gopal Jaya Srinath Ji Jaya Giri Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Nitai Jaya Gauranitai Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Om Vishnu Param Hamsa Parivati Gacchaya Shri Samanga Sabhaita Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnu Param Hamsa Parivati Gacchaya Shri Samanga Bhakti Siddhanta Sri Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki ISKCON BBT Founder Srila Prabhupada Ki Sama Veda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Lord Ramchandra's Appearance Festival Mahotsav Ki Ram Mahotsav Ki Tagore Pemanande, all glories are Samabhuti, all glories are Samabhuti, glories are Samabhuti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Reading today, because it is Ram Navami, from Canto 9, chapter number 10, text number let's do text number 27. 9, 10, 27. No. Did I already do Narayana? No. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasim Tato Jayam Virye Nastapaya Shubhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhakti Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we're going to read some very interesting verses today from 1927. Yeah, from this is about Lord Ramchandra's appearance. We don't talk so much about this part. It's very interesting. So let's see how it goes. Navai Veda Mahabhaga Bhavan Kama Vasham Gataha Tejo Anubhavana Sitaya Yena Nilo Dashamimam Navai Veda Mahabhaga Bhavan Kama Visham Gataha Tejo Anubhavam Sitaya Yena Nilo Dashamimam Navai Veda Mahabhaga Bhavan Kama Visham Gataha Tejo Anubhavam Sitaya Yena Nilo Dashamimam Navai Veda Mahabhaga Bhavan Kama Vasham Tejo Anubhavam Sitaya Yena Nito Dasam Imam Veda Mahabhaga Bhavan Kama Vasam Kata Tejo Bhavam Sitaya Yena Nito Dasam Imam Navai Veda Mahabhaga Bhavan Kama Vasham Kata Tejo Anubhavam Sitaya Yena Nito Dasam Imam Not. Vai. Indeed. Veda. Did know. Mahabhaga. Oh, greatly fortunate one. Bhavan. Yourself. Kama Vasham. Influenced by lusty desires. Gataha. Having become. Teja. By influence. Anubhavam. As a result of such influence. Sitaya. Of Mother Sita. Yena. By which. Brought into. Dasham. Condition. Imam. Like this. Destruction. Translation and purport by His Divine Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. O greatly fortunate one, you came under the influence of lusty desires, and therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now, because of her curse, you have been reduced to this state, having been killed by Lord Ramachandra. Purport. Not only, please repeat. O greatly fortunate one. O greatly fortunate one. You come under the influence of lusty desires. And therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now, of her curse, you have been reduced to the state, having been killed by Lord Perfect. Not only was Mother Sita powerful, but any woman who follows in the footsteps of Mother Sita can become similarly powerful. There are many instances in the history of Vedic literature. Whenever we find a description of ideal chaste women, Mother Sita is among them. Mandodari for Ravana was also very chaste. Similarly, Draupadi was one of the 5 exalted chaste women. Mother Sita is among them. Similarly, Draupadi was one of the 5 exalted chaste women. As a man must follow personalities like Brahma and Narada, a woman must follow the path of such ideal women as Sita, Mandodari, and Draupadi. By staying chaste and faithful to her husband, a woman enriches herself with supernatural power. It is a moral that one should not be influenced by lusty desires for another's wife. An intelligent person must look upon another's wife as being like mother. This is a moral injunction from Chanakya Shloka 10. Matvatpara dareshu para draveshu loshtravad atmavad sarvabhuteshu nyapashyati sapanditaha. Quote, one who considers another's wife as his mother, another's possession as a lump of dirt, and treats all the living things as he would himself, is considered to be learned. Thus Ravana was condemned not only by Lord Ramchandra, but even by his wife Mandodari. Because chaste woman, she knew the power of another chaste woman, especially such as a wife as Mother Sita Devi. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dharati Swapadantikam Vandayam Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Mayamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Gunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadut Parirana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindham Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopeshika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Rindavaneshwari Vrishabhanuste Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhyev Chaitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravanarine Nirvishesha Shunivari Paschatya Deshatayane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. O greatly fortunate one, you are under the influence of lusty desires, and therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now, because of her curse, you have been reduced to this state, having been killed by Lord Ramachandra. So today is a very auspicious day of Ram Navami, the appearance of Lord Ramachandra. It's a very important day, actually, in ISKCON. Coincidentally, many great events taking place in the history of ISKCON on this day, including 50 years ago today, the most glorious opening of Sri Krishna Balaram, Radha Shyam Sundar Lalita Vishaka, Sri Sri Gaurnitai Mandir in Sri Vrindavan Dham. This was the full circle accomplishment of Srila Prabhupada. He left Sri Vrindavan Dham as a known and renowned sadhus by the residents of Vrindavan. He was widely celebrated for his great devotional service in Vrindavan. All to come save us. And when he came back to India a few years later with a plane load of his. It was a spectacle like Vrindavan has never seen. White young boys and girls draped in bedsheets and saris, experiencing India for the first time. And it was a remarkable achievement for Srila Prabhupada and for Vrindavan. And after some time in 1975, after much effort, he opened this Krishna Balaram Mandir. And when he opened this, it was literally in the boonies, as they call it. It is like completely in the middle of nowhere. Now, very auspicious place of Raman Reti, where Krishna and Balaram used to play in the sand. But there was no development anywhere near this temple. But they got this land from the Saraf family, and Srila Prabhupada made this temple. And in the early days, it was known as the Angrezi temple, the American temple, where the white people worshipped. But due to Srila Prabhupada's extraordinary purity and the power and blessings of Srila Prabhupada that he bestowed upon his followers through their years and years and decades of highest standard of worship, this Krishna Balaram Mandir has now become the epicenter, the focal point of devotional service in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Many of the temples in Sri Vrindavan Dham had become very dilapidated. The maintenance was not there. The worship standards were sort of declining. And as Srila Prabhupada established in Krishna Balaram Mandir this really high standard of worship, he's uplifted the whole Rajabhumi. The standard of worship, the deity paraphernalia, the temple structures all over Vrindavan began to improve. And now you see this Krishna Balaram Mandir, there's no land anywhere near it around it available. Okay. It's like completely, I remember when we first went in 1989, I remember 89 at least we went, when we were going to the Vrindavan town, you had to come back before sunset because the rickshawala, the bike rickshaws only at that time, they would not go through the forest because the road was through the forest because dacoits would come and attack you.
What?
Thieves.
Oh, okay.
It was all like forest. There was no development between town and Krishna Balaram Mandir. And now, you don't even see a single tree. Not one tree you'll see. But this was the dynamic. So, historic day of Ram Navami was the day that this Krishna Balaram Mandir opened. And so we're very grateful. Many other temples, including one of other Srila Prabhupada's dream projects, this Radha Parthasarthi temple in Delhi. He wanted a big temple in Delhi. It was very important to Srila Prabhupada, and it also inaugurated on Ram Navami Day. So, very auspicious day. So these verses are very interesting. So let us understand, we don't talk about this very much, but so Ravan has been killed by Lord Ramchandra. And who is speaking these words? Mandodari. So her husband is, and all of the queens have come out of the palaces and seeing their husbands strewn on the floor on the battlefield. And they were piteously crying and pounding their chests in anguish. And who were they angry at? Mandodari says that in the prior verse, O my Lord, O Master, you epitomize trouble for others, and therefore you were called Ravana. But now you have been defeated. We are also defeated. For without you, the Lanka has become conquered by the enemy. For who will it go to shelter? Mandodari, in her state of great despair, understood Ravana's defeat was due to Ravana's lusty desires, his bad qualities. She had great knowledge. You want to hear the next verse? This is great. This is her speaking again. O pleasure of the Rakshasa dynasty, because of you, the state of Lanka, and we also now have no protector. Listen to this. This is Mandodari speaking about Ravana. By your deeds, you have made your body to be eaten by vultures, and your soul fit to go to hell. This is a chaste wife is devoted to her husband. But she is not devoted to her husband blindly. She followed him, but she knew what he was doing was wrong. And so when he was slain on the battlefield, she did not have lamentation or anguish toward Lakshman and Lord Ramchandra, but simply said, you have caused this. You have caused your destruction. This is intelligence. This is intelligence. Speaks about, so in this verse, she opens it with, O greatly fortunate one. How is he fortunate? How is he fortunate? Because he was killed by Lord Ramchandra. Okay. So she is saying her dead husband is lying on the floor, and she is saying, oh, greatly fortunate. This is the power of a chaste woman. Controlling emotions in the midst of great source of despair. Supreme intelligence and strength to see. Husband was fortunate because he was a sinful man who was destined to his soul go to hell, as she says in the next verse. But because he was killed, Supreme Lord, he was saved. And so Mandodari teaches us that care is not about the body. Her own position has been suffering. She has no protector now. She is lamenting, who is going to protect us? Because of your selfish desires. You have left us unprotected. But still, she has great care, not for the body, but for the soul. Very, very stunning position of Mandodari. Stunning quality. And this is the quality that a devotee of the Lord has. Now, very interestingly here, that you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita is mentioned in this verse. I feel like this should be like a Mother's Day class. Mother Sita's influence is extraordinary. Actually, when the Vanara army came, the monkey army came to fight the very strong soldiers of Ravana in Lanka, fighting with stones and trees. They had no sophisticated weapons. They were fighting against a very well-equipped modern army with so many different types of arrows that could do amazing mystical power. So why they were defeated? Why they were defeated? I always think, no, because they were fighting for Ramchandra, right? To right over bad, good over evil. But that's not why they defeated. It had not to do with Lord Ramchandra. It had to do with Mother Sita. Because she cursed Ravan for his transgression of etiquette by taking another's wife. Her curse, the weapons of Ravan's army became useless, weak. And the weapons of the Vana army became strong. The Lord Ramchandra. It was due to Mother Sita. Srila Prabhupada makes this comment in the purport that it was due to the strength of Mother Sita. See, in Ramayana, we see many peculiar circumstances. One such peculiar circumstance, let's stick on this theme of Mother Sita's power. So we know that in her childhood, she grew up in King Janak's palace. And she was playing with her friends. And one day they saw that there was a beautiful flower high up on a tree. And they could not reach it. And Mother Sita said, no problem. And she went inside the house. And she says, my father has a bow. And she took this bow and carried it, 5-year-old Mother Sita, and set it up against a tree, climbed up the bow and grabbed the flower and gave to her friends. And then she went back in and put this bow back. But what was this bow? Whose bow was this? Lord Shiva's bow? It took thousands of military strength men to move this bow even 1 foot. They would carry and move and then rest and move. And so powerful and heavy and strong. Thousands of military men to move the bow. But this 5-year-old girl is playing with it like it's just like a pencil. Picking it up, using it to climb, to pick up a flower and putting it back. So when the ministers saw this, they were stunned. How is it that this Mother Sita is 5-year-old? And Janak Maharaj went into distress. He said, who's going to marry her? She's so strong. No man will marry her. Someone has to have at least the strength of her wife to protect. Who's going to marry? So thus King Janak, of course, said, well, whoever can string his bow is qualified to marry my wife. My daughter, sorry. Lord Ramchandra, after all great kings came, trying to string that, they couldn't even move it 1 millimeter. Big kings, they couldn't move it even 1 fraction of an inch. So, do we think Mother Sita sitting in the Ashok garden of Lanka herself, she could have destroyed Ravan and the whole Lanka? She's powerful. Nobody could lift a bow, and she's playing with it like it's nothing. power was unlimited. Her power is what gave power to the Vanara army. Weapons. Her power weakened Ravan's army. So why she didn't just expel from this circumstance? Because this pastime of Ramayana in total, specifically of the abduction of Mother Sita and the recovery, is a great pastime that is full of so many important for us that we have to apply in our day-to-day life. And had she exerted her power, many of these lessons would not have unfolded. For the benefit of all of us, being our beloved mother, Mother Sita waited in this forest, in this garden, for her beloved Ram to come and rescue her. And in doing so, so many great personalities, so many of the demigods who came, appeared as monkeys in this army, opportunity to serve the Lord. Think of this, so many other peculiarities. Krishna, we know, is sitting in our heart. Sarvasya Chamridi Shato. He is sitting in our heart. And he knows everything about us. He knows the deepest thoughts and desires in our heart. Sitting in the spiritual world, sitting here in front of us, he knows everything. He has complete awareness. Yet, he's walking around the forest, crying pitifully, wondering, where is my mother Sita? Where is my wife? Not mother. Where is my wife? Where is my wife? Did he not know where she was? Of course he did. He's the all-knowing, supreme personality of Godhead. But he dispersed his devotees to go east, west, north, and south to try to find Mother Sita. When they went to the edge of the southern tip of India, and they had an ocean to cross, he couldn't just step over into Lanka. This is the supreme personality God. As a dwarf, as Vamandev, when his 1 foot step, he pierced the upper sky of the universe, thus releasing Ganges into this world. And he couldn't cross a few miles into Lanka. He got planets and systems to the top of the universe with 1 foot, with 1 step. But he needed a bridge. He is creating, through his expansions, universe just lying on Ananta Shesh. He had to go to Lanka to kill Ravan? No. By his own will, Ravan could have been reduced to ashes. So, these circumstances we have to understand. And know then why he went through all this effort and drama and intrigue. He did to create our attention. Because we're so intrigued by this, very dramatic series of events, it brings us to understand how to save ourselves from this despair. So many lessons come from Ramayana. If we just meditate on these beautiful stories that entertain the heart, but we don't change the heart, we are not accomplishing what the Lord had in mind when He performed these pastimes. Because again, He didn't need to perform any of them. He could have just, Mother Sita could have ended it. Lord Ram could have ended it. So one of the great lessons we get in Ramayana is the futility, the danger of our lusty desires. Mandurati is saying, fortunate one, you came under the influence of lusty desires, and therefore you could not understand the power of Mother Sita. This tells us everything we need to know. Our material desires, it clouds our intelligence. It blocks our ability to understand the simplest of facts. When Ram took Mother Sita, he had hundreds of queens. He had royal palaces made of gold. Whole Lanka was full of gold. So much power. The demigods were fearful of him. So much he had. Was he satisfied? This is love. No matter what we get that we desire materially, we can fulfill every one of our last desires and still will not be. So Ravana needed one more, and he took Mother Sita. Actually, when Suparnaka came with her nose cut off, Ravana didn't even care. He wasn't paying attention. But she knew how to get his attention. And she said, oh, they have a very beautiful wife. That got his attention. And she said, you deserve her, not them. This is lust. But when he couldn't enjoy her, he could have easily given up. But no. This lust, it rages. And he was losing great persons at every moment of the battle. He was losing everyone. And still, he could have salvaged himself by giving Mother Sita back. Everything around him was crumbling. Heck, Hanumanji came and with his tail destroyed half of Lanka. With any common sense, he would think, wait a minute. If the messenger of this army destroyed half of my... What strength lies within this army? The army does send their strongest person as messenger. With just a little bit of knowledge. Why he couldn't figure this out? Lust. As his brother was killed, his sons were killed, all dying in battle, he could have saw, okay, this is not going to work out well. But because he was so overcome by lust, he could not see what was most obvious. And what was the result? His destruction. This is lust. We see it killing us every day. But we can't give it up. We can't give it up. The Lord Ram comes to perform his pastimes, to help us break our lustful tendencies.
so that we can finally end this miserable life of birth, death, old disease, and find real happiness. Rama's source of pleasure. He came to show us the path of real happiness. And that is by engaging in devotional service, destroying our lustful tendencies, and engaging in the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And so the wise know this. And Mandodari, being a very chaste woman, she knew this very clearly. In the midst of her despair, shows great strength. And so, as Prabhupada writes, we as men have great persons to follow, and Matajis have great persons to follow. And if we just follow the path of these great devotees, we'll achieve perfection. Shri Ram Navami Mahotsav ki, Shrimadbhagavatam ki, Shri Prabhupada ki. Any discussion you can have? Comments, questions? Huh? How to become chaste? Great question. Chaste means that one gains strength by surrender. In the material world, we deem surrender to be weak, right? When two armies are fighting, the losing army surrenders. But actually, surrender is one of great strength. To surrender to Krishna means that one has the great faith in Krishna's protection, great interest to follow the yamas and niyamas, the great humility to realize I can't do this myself. So, a woman in this system, she gains her great strength through service. And through service, this has become socially, controversial or, frowned upon. That, a woman should not serve her husband. But actually, you see the great queens, their strength came in their service to their husbands. Mother Sita was so chaste that she chose to endure years of austerity in the forest to be with her husband. She was so chaste that she would walk in front of Lord Ram. Why? Because she wanted to feel the thorns in the forest and remove them so that her beloved Ram would not experience the pain of those thorns. We go to Krishna and say, Krishna, please remove my distress. But what does the devotee do? The devotee goes to Krishna and say, let me serve you. Of course, Krishna has no distress, but out of love saying, let me solve your distress, not you solve mine. This was Mother Sita's great mission. Now, this chasteness, service, the husband also has a great responsibility. He must be worthy of that service. He must make himself very qualified to receive that service from a chaste wife. Not that the husband should try to think that, oh, I can take advantage of this situation and get what I want. It doesn't work that way.
This system is very, very clear. And it's born out of the single idea of
Humility. Humbleness. So, we can talk lots about this, but we don't have time. But there's one pastime that shows, interesting. Please. Srila Prabhupada tells us the story that there was a leper, a man afflicted with disease, and he had desire to engage with a prostitute. But he was basically invalid, he could not walk. He asked his wife, "Can you take me to go see this prostitute?" It was so fallen. And what did his wife do? Give him a slap? You fool? No. She carried him on her back to take him to this prostitute. And when they got to the prostitute's house, her husband then realized, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. And he lost his desire. It was by her mood of purity that he became purified. This is the point. On the way back, she was carrying him, and inadvertently, his foot touched a great sage, and was cursed to die at sunrise. And so what she did, she prayed and told the sun, "Do not rise tomorrow." She was so strong because of her chasteness that did not rise. And all the demigods became bewildered. Hey, our system is off. Negotiation took place, and the curse was removed, and the sun could rise. But this was how strong. We see in modern parlance, oh, this is weak. Serving her husband is weak. But who had the strength? It was her. She saved his life twice. So, this is just, but one must know where the source of strength is, how it actually manifests. Like this, there are many, many examples to follow. But it takes gravity, just as, anyways, it takes us to. Any other comments or questions? Thank you very much. Grantharaj Shrimadbhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Most auspicious Ram Navami Mahotsav festival ki jai.